Hey, it's Joe from Peak Performance. You know, changing your own oil can save you money, and who doesn't want to do that these days? I'm going to show you that it's pretty easy to do. But first, let's take a look at what oil actually does. Okay, so now you're saying that's a big old can of worms. So let's dive right in. What does oil do? First of all, oil lubricates your engine. Okay, now this is important because metal parts in your engine move against other metal parts, causing friction and heat. They require lubrication to keep them from getting too hot, too dirty, and from wearing out too quickly. Motor oil coats the metal parts of your engine, keeping them from grinding together and seizing or tearing themselves apart. Oil cleans out the nasty byproducts of combustion, chemicals and buildups like acids and silica. And oil minimizes your engine's exposure to oxygen, which causes oxidation, otherwise known as rust. It does this at tremendously high heat and pressure. While oil is busy lubricating, cleaning, protecting, and keeping your engine from blowing itself up, it eventually starts to break down, and every so often, it must be replaced. So, here lies the big debate. How often is every so often? How often should you change your oil? Keep in mind, changing your oil regularly is the most important thing you'll ever do to extend the life of your vehicle. You know, most vehicle makers recommend an oil change every 6,000 miles for normal service, and 3,000 miles for severe service. It all depends on your vehicle, the type of driving you do, and the environment you drive in. Check your owner's manual for your manufacturer's recommendation. What about those numbers on the oil container? This one says 5W20. What does that mean? The numbers tell you the grade of oil. They are measures of viscosity, how the oil flows at different temperatures. Always look in your owner's manual to get your manufacturer's recommendation for the type of oil you use in your vehicle. Let's take a look at the supplies and tools you'll need. First, you'll need a wrench for the oil drain plug, an end wrench, a socket wrench, or an adjustable wrench will work. You'll need an oil drain pan and a container to put the used oil in that will allow you to dispose of it properly, either at the disposal facility or an auto shop. You're going to need a new oil filter. Check your owner's manual to find the correct replacement. An oil filter wrench and the right amount of the recommended grade of Peak Performance motor oil. It might be a good idea to have some rags or shop towels on hand, just in case. Now, let's move on to actually changing your oil. First off, step one, figure out where you're going to do your oil change. Find a flat spot in your driveway or your garage, and we're ready to begin. We took the car for a spin around the neighborhood to warm up the oil. Warm oil drains faster than cold oil. Run the engine just long enough so the temperature gauge registers. If you don't have a temperature gauge, turn the heater on until you start to get warm. Park the car, put it in park or in gear, and set the parking brake. You may also want to chock the rear wheels. We're up to step two, locate the oil drain plug. You're going to have to get at the drain plug. So determine if you have to raise the car to get underneath. If you do, you can use a jack and jack stands. Never get under a car that is held up only by a jack. So, raise the car up with a jack, then set it on at least 2 jack stands. Always use jack stands. After all, it is your head. You can also use drive-up ramps with rear wheel chocks. Okay, by this time you've decided on a wrench for the drain plug, so we've arrived to step number 3. Find the oil filler cap, take it off. This will help the oil drain out faster. Get under the vehicle. Position the oil drain pan where the stream of oil will go. If the drain plug is on the side of the engine, it'll shoot out sideways, like a fire hydrant. You may want to also use newspaper or cardboard under the engine compartment. Turn your wrench counterclockwise to loosen the drain plug. This might take some effort. Now you may want to put on some surgical type gloves. Remove the drain plug with your fingers and be ready for hot oil to flow out, hence the gloves. Most of the oil will drain out in about 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to give it a bit more time than that. While it's draining, we can move on to step 4, changing the oil filter. Attach the filter wrench to the old filter. It only works in one direction. Turn the filter counterclockwise to loosen it up, then turn it the rest of the way by hand to remove it. Be careful, it has hot oil in it. Pour the contents into your drain pan and set it aside with the opening up. Prepare the new filter by spreading oil on the gasket. Wipe the filter mounting area on the engine with a clean rag and put the new filter on. Tighten the filter hand tight. Then, turn it 1/2 to 3/4 of a turn more with the filter wrench. You want a nice tight seal between the oil filter and the engine. If it's not tight enough, you'll have an oil leak. But if it's too tight, you'll have trouble getting the filter off the next time. Okay, on to step 5. Replace the drain plug, snug it up nice and tight, and clean off the area so you'll be able to see if there's any leaks later on. Now's a great time for step 6, dealing with the used oil. Pour the used oil from your drain pan into a sealable container that you can take for proper disposal. Just make sure the oil is cool enough and the container seals tightly and that it won't fall over on the ride to the oil disposal place, either a certified oil recycler or an auto shop where they know how to deal with it. Put the old filter into a Ziploc bag. Wipe out the funnel nice and clean. All right, step 7. We're cranking now. Using the funnel and the oil filler spout, put in the fresh oil. Check your owner's manual for the correct amount to put in your vehicle. Peak Performance motor oils come in quart bottles, as well as 5-quart jugs for vehicles that need just that much oil. Replace the filler cap, clean around the area, and check for leaks. Also, check your oil level just to make sure. Which brings us to step 8. Start the engine and let it run for several minutes. You can use this time to clean up. Check for oil leaks at the drain plug, the oil filter, and the filler cap. Then, lower the car. Check the oil level. You may have to top it off, as oil is drawn into the engine when the car is running. All right, done deal. Not too bad, huh? For the most important thing you can do to extend the life of your car. Especially a car like this. Be sure to check us out at peakauto.com. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm Joe from Peak Performance. Thanks for watching.